one of the oldest old-growth Piedmont forests in the country.
What can they expect to be something special for them?
There's an amalgamation of everything that you could really hope for. 12 of the most venomous spiders is just insane. For somebody like me who's terrified of them, one of the most fun experiences that we do is Fernbank after dark. Drink and walk around the museum. A lot of the time they have music going. WildWoods AGLOW, it's a very ethereal, almost like a wonderland. Giant glowing mushrooms and projected lights, and it's telling the story of what happens in nature after dark. Giant tree house upstairs, indoor, called Nature Quest, where kids can run around and explore. Paved boardwalk. It's really nice. It's almost like you're up among the trees. There's all kinds of trails, very unique trees. What we know about history, especially about dinosaurs, is always changing. When you're putting in the education behind it, if it does change, it can be adapted to change.
So with us today, we have a repeat. Jena Alison. She is with the Fernbank Museum right here in DeKalb County. And welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me back.
You know, before the show, we were talking about how many times have you been on this show?
Two or three.
Okay,
I think
we put you at more like 4 to 5.
It might be four. It might be 4. I've been over here a couple of different times, and as you were saying, the studio is always a little bit different every time I come in here.
Have you been in the van yet?
No, I haven't been in the van yet.
Okay, so we got to have a van over at Fernbank.
Oh yeah,
and do it over there.
Do it live on site. That would be fun. Yeah.
That would be good. So we're excited to have you here. So for our listeners who maybe haven't heard you before, tell us a little bit about yourself and how did you get into the role with Fernbank?
So I've been with Fernbank. It'll be 4 years in March. I'm their communications manager. So that's social media, email, press, interviews like this, or sometimes web writing. It's a lot of like different hats, lots of pieces. I have a bachelor's in communications from Kennesaw, which I got in 2013, and I was in the live entertainment industry for a long time, and then became a mom, became a wife, and wanted to stop working so many shows at night. And so I found an exciting, entertaining area like Fernbank where I could still use the communications marketing skill set that I had. So I interviewed, and after a lot of different rounds got this role that I'm in, and it's been great. I mean, you're constantly learning with exhibits coming in and out all the time, and it's a constantly exciting place to be, so I've really enjoyed it.
So live entertainment, got to dive into that.
Yeah.
So is that like you're an actress on a play production like at Art Station, or is that live TV that's still being done?
It was music. I was in the music industry.
Okay.
Yeah, I started at Eddie's Attic over in Decatur Square, and went to Six Man, which does concert festivals all over, and then to Live Nation. Worked for Tabernacle, Buckhead Theater, Lakewood Amphitheater, and that whole thing. And then I worked at Gas South Amphitheater up in Duluth. A lot of like really cool, fun stories from that 12-ish years that I was doing it. But it's like I said, it's a lot of late nights.
So you're doing the communications marketing aspect of the live venue.
Yeah, and some of the artist relations stuff. But yeah,
So you were there for like Sugarland or Jennifer Nettles?
I was just after they. Did you know they owned Eddie's Attic? Jennifer Nettles did.
I knew they got their start there. I didn't realize they owned it.
She owned it. Her and her ex-husband owned it, and so I was there for a little bit just after that. It was right at the end of the Alex Cooley era, if you're familiar with that name at all. He was a big promoter in Atlanta for a really long time. And so if you grew up here, he's the one who saved the Fox Theater, for example, and started Music Midtown. That was all him. So he started Eddie's Attic, or he bought Eddie's Attic, I should say. And so right around the time he died, I came in just before that.
Wow.
Around 2015. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. We do have a strong music background.
Yeah. It was a pretty big career shift, but there's a lot of entertainment crossover with just entertaining the public in general when it comes to museums. And so I've brought a lot of that into the role. And then I had to push my education background up a little more, but I've been able to do it pretty well. So
So tell us a little bit about how you look at Fernbank. And we're going to dive in, of course, to the exhibit we're going to talk about. But how do you, when you're looking at exhibits, when you're looking at activations, how do you find the right one that blends the storytelling with the education, with the hands-on, and keeping kids motivated? Is that an easy thing to do, or?
We have an exhibits team that is really robust in researching and vetting different exhibits that are on loan from all over the world. I mean, we've had some come from Australia. Planet Ice is coming from Canada. We get some from the American Museum. It's from all over the place. And they do a really great job in thoroughly researching audience retention, marketing strategies, what kind of assets are coming in and how viable they are, and if we're able to legally take them on without any kind of issues being reflected, things like that, and whether it would just do well with our audience. It's something that they'll plan years in advance. I mean, they're looking at exhibits for like 2029, 2030 right now, just to like be prepared for it because there is all the contract work and whatnot that goes into it. So yeah, and with that, always keeping in mind our mission, which is to ignite a passion for science, history, and human culture, and just make sure that we're always keeping those aspects top of mind so that we can be entertaining to younger audiences, of course, and keep the education going, but also be appealing for older audiences who maybe want to come back to a museum that they haven't been to in a long time or are looking for a fun new thing to do, like a night out. We do a lot of adult nights and stuff like that, so we're trying to play to both as best as we can.
And you do such a great job between the kids and the evening adult, like date nights and things like that.
It's there's a lot of thinking going into that, a lot of work. So I appreciate hearing it.
So before I jump into your new event, I want to make sure that our listeners are hearing the one that is going to end of February the 13th, make sure they have time to get out there for it. So it's the WildWoods, the Glow. So tell us about that, and why do they want to make sure they can get in to see that before it leaves?
So WildWoods, the Glow, it goes through February 28th. The last adult-only night is February 13th.
Okay.
Yeah. So what it is it's an outdoor experience, which is really nice if you're looking for something that like to get outside and then be able to come back in and explore the whole museum. And it's a very ethereal, almost like a wonderland. It's giant glowing mushrooms and projected lights, and it's telling the story of what happens in nature after dark, after the sun sets. And you'll see root systems being projected going up trees and animals moving around. It's really, really cool. Very interactive. You touch it and leaves are flying everywhere. It's really neat looking, very pretty. And then afterwards, you can also come back in and experience the museum at night, which is always nicer. It's a little bit quieter most of the time, and it's just kind of a calmer, more exciting experience, in my opinion.
Well, what's cool is with your last adult show, Date Night, February 13th.
I know.
That's better than to have a
Valentine's
date night
weekend.
pre the really busy 14th.
Yeah, and you can avoid the crowds. I know. I think the same way. And yeah, that's Fernbank After Dark. The last one that features WildWoods Aglow is this February, on the 13th, as you said, and it's 21 and up, so no kids running around. It can be you and your partner, or you and your partner and even another group of friends, or whatever you want to do, and come in and experience the museum that way.
So that's really cool. We want to make sure our listeners get out there and get to this event before it's the last time they have the date night.
Yeah, got to get there before the 28th.
So, talking about your newest exhibit, I think this is going to be something that I'm anxious to hear about. Planet Ice. It starts February the 7th, right?
Yeah. Yes, it starts February the 7th, this Saturday.
So tell us about that.
So Planet Ice, ironically, is coming right on the heels of back-to-back snow weekends. So it feels like it's very on brand right now for Georgia. It's coming from Canada, from the Canadian Museum. And what it is the story of the way that life survived and adapted amongst the ice ages. So it's got over 100 specimens in it, so it's megafauna like mammoths and saber-toothed tigers and wolves and things like that. Huge structures. There's an augmented reality piece to it. There's immersive experiences like creating a snowflake. And then there's also a whole section detailing Neanderthals and the tools they used to survive and the way humans adapted from that time period.
Sounds like a exhibit of Ice Age, the movie.
Kind of, yeah. And you know what? We have a Titans of the Ice Age movie starting at the same time. So it's like you can go see the exhibit, you can go watch the movie, you can go outside in the cold weather and just kind of get the whole feel for it.
So what was the driving force to bring this and bring all this cold weather to Atlanta?
It's very well timed. I will say that. It's a good one to put in winter right now, especially if
Yeah.
you're a fan of it. Um, Bringing in Planet Ice is telling the story of the history of our Earth, which plays right into our mission of talking about history. And, in this case, it's covering 80,000 years of Earth's history. So it's where we're coming from and where we've come from, where the planets come from, and kind of focusing on the way we've changed and survived.
So how long is this exhibit going to be here?
It'll be here through early May.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they have several months to be able to come in and experience it.
Yeah, if you're not a winter person, you can come in the warmer months and go into Planet Ice then.
Well, I know I'm going to be jumping off cue for Marty or you, but I'm going to ask, do you have FIFA exhibits or anything planned for FIFA in June and July?
Not an exhibit. We don't have anything set in stone yet, but we are very aware of what's going on with FIFA and want to plan fun events, especially for adults surrounding the event that's coming. It's the World Cup. But we don't have anything that I can announce to the public yet, but look for it on our website because it will be coming.
Yeah, that's great because we actually have an organization called the Cab United Sports Commission.
Oh, yeah.
Which was set up by Madam CEO for DeKalb County.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really a website and an organization to help produce events for FIFA, not just watch parties. A lot of cities are doing watch parties, but any type of activation. Like we just learned of a really cool activation not far from you. Carlos Museum is doing football club soccer sneakers.
Oh, wow.
And they're doing soccer or football jerseys.
Oh, that's cool.
So
yeah,
and neither one are like watch parties, but
yeah, but it's got the history of it though, or at least modern relics. So yeah, very cool.
So if you want families, you want everyone, but families to come. When they get there, what can they expect to be something special for them that they can have memorable?
I think that the most, especially if you haven't been there before, the most astonishing immediate thing you notice when you walk into Fernbank is the 3-story dinosaurs.
Oh, yeah.
The Jena Alison and the Argentinosaurus. I mean, you walk right underneath them. It's like you're walking among them. That was the thing that when I was interviewing really stuck with me is like I would get to see this every single day, which is very unique in an experience, especially in a workplace. But there's also just so much different types of things that you can do there for all ages. There's a giant tree house upstairs indoor called Nature Quest where kids can run around and explore. And then on the opposite side of that floor, there's a room called Fantastic Forces, which just plays with different physical forces in nature. You're shooting paper airplanes across the room and stuff like that. And so it just kind of, there's an amalgamation of everything that you could really hope for in this type of museum experience.
Now, tell us about outside on just a general day, not at nighttime, but you have the wonderful boardwalk and all outside in the Fernbank Forest.
Yeah, we have 75 acres of forest. We are often called the forest within the city, and it's one of the oldest old growth Piedmont forests in the country. And so what it is the first 10 acres of that is WildWoods, and WildWoods is this really cool paved boardwalk. It's really, really nice. And what you do is when you go into the WildWoods area, you can walk and it's almost like you're up among the trees and it'll spin you down. It's a very like leisurely, easy walk for anybody who's looking to just kind of get outside in a well put together area. But then we also host forest walks and people go hiking throughout the forest as well. And there's all kinds of trails and very unique trees and everything that you can see in there. And there's the option to go with you or your spouse, your family. And there's also different nature-led walks that we do. So there's a lot of options for people.
Nice.
Yeah.
So is there anything you can kind of hint about for the future that's on your plans that you really want to bring in?
Yeah, so we are actually opening a new experience we just announced this summer. We will be restructuring an entire part of the museum for our new Thrive experience. And so what it is, it's a 3-part structure. The first one has already opened. It's called Our Place in the Cosmos, which is a detailed look at like the galaxies and stars, and that's inside our star gallery. That's been open for about 2 months-ish, month and a half. About 2 months, I think. And then soon we will have the Orkin Discovery Zone coming. That'll be this spring. I don't have a lot of details about it, but it'll be a more hands-on interactive area for people to come in and just experience more immersive scientific studies and things to do there. And then there's a third part of it, which is it'll be a look at climates and the way that they change. But I don't have as much information on that third part yet. But that'll be coming in.
Kind of like what happened to us. We go from no snow
Yes.
to a lot of snow. and ice.
Yes. There's a lot of details about this on our website, though.
Well, one of the things too I wanted to bring up, because I know your Great Hall, Grand Hall,
Great Hall.
the Great Hall is a just picturesque, phenomenal meeting facility, wedding facility,
Mm-hmm.
dinner, banquet,
Beautiful.
exhibit. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
How many square feet and things like that.
So we have a whole events team that is stellar at putting on different events in the Great Hall. People rent it out all the time. And that includes, if you want, it can be the terrace, which is in the backyard. It can be the front or the back of the museum. It can include the front with the dinosaur plaza with all the dinosaur statues, or just the Great Hall. And it's just beautiful the way that they do it. They light the entire area up. There's gorgeous tablecloths and everything is glittering. I've seen it different times for weddings and for timeless, and there's photos all online and stuff, but it can be booked individually, and they just do an excellent job at creating a really memorable atmosphere for special occasions.
Yeah, because we've had several events from the Convention and Visitor Bureau there in the hall, and it is spectacular.
Yeah, she does. The head of our events team is a woman named Jen Yard, and she's very talented at what she does. I am very impressed with the events that come into the museum. It doesn't look like a museum. It looks like you're getting married among the dinosaurs. I mean, It's beautiful.
Well, and you have that giant staircase for the bride to come down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's a really cool shot if you're standing, because it's a spiral. So if you're standing at the bottom, you can see all the way up at her at the top. And so it's like a very ethereal viewpoint. It's really, really neat.
Yeah, and you got a lot of parking. You're easily accessible.
And parking's free, which is not easy to find in Atlanta.
That's true.
Yeah.
Very true point.
Yeah, it's hard to find free parking, so I like to make sure everybody knows parking's free at Fernbank.
So, tell us a little bit about how can they, where you're located, how can they find you, social, online, and all, so listeners can find you.
Yeah, so we're located off of Clifton Road. We're about 10 minutes from Decatur Square, if that gives you a general area. You can find anything out about us on our website. That's fernbankmuseum.org. And all of our social media, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, everything is at Fernbank Museum. So you can find out everything that's happening in real time, especially on our Instagram. I keep that updated quite frequently.
Do you own like the Dinosaur Museum just as a backup for people to go to that type it in?
Do we have the Dinosaur Museum? Yes. There's different like phrasing. People type in dinosaurs in Atlanta, and it's like Fernbank pops up. That's all very strategically done by my my manager. Yeah.
Let's take advantage of that, because if people know it, you want them to find you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because people don't always think of the word Fernbank, but they'll think of dinosaurs or whatever they're looking for. They'll think of forests in the city, and they'll be like, "Oh, Fernbank, come see us." Yeah,
that's very true. So, is there any type of event that you want to, something new, know while you're there? You can get a bite to eat near a cafe?
You can get a bite to eat in our cafe. If you come visit, we do have a cafe on site. Something that I would recommend, the thing I always recommend people to go to first, unless you have kids, is Fernbank After Dark. I think it's one of the most fun experiences that we do. We have a bar and light bites, and you can pay to drink and walk around. Sorry, I hit the mic. You could pay to drink and walk around the museum, and just kind of see it in a different atmosphere. A lot of the time they have music going. It's a lot more relaxed. And I always encourage anybody above 21 to come with your friends, get a beer and walk around. And that was the first way that I really got integrated into it. And it's a lot of fun. So that's the second Friday of every month we do that. So I recommend, first experience at Fernbank, try it that way first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if I did that when you were on the show last, but I try to end all of our shows now with, what are 3 of your favorite must-see attractions or restaurants, and don't just say Fernbank, obviously. So if you have family coming in
Hmm.
and they go, take me out, where's the three places? Like I said, it could be an attraction, and we'll assume Fernbank is number one. So give us three new ones that you have to take someone to eat or experience in DeKalb.
Hmm. Are we? Is Decatur in DeKalb?
Yes.
Okay. I spent a lot of my early 20s at the Square. Um, and I told you I started at Eddie's Attic, but I am very partial to that room. I do bring a lot of people there. It's just a very unique listening room bar scene, and a lot of very famous people got started there.
Definitely.
Like John Mayer, for example, is the
Yeah.
most famous of them. But I mean, like Chris Stapleton was there when I was there, and now he's all over the place. And Luke Combs and a bunch of other ones. So I always take people to Eddie's, and I will continue to go back there. So it's probably number one on my list.
Okay.
And right next door to it is this little restaurant called Raging Burrito. Have you
Oh
ever heard of
yes,
Raging
I have
Burrito?
not been there, but I know what you're talking about.
They have this homemade pineapple salsa that is unreal, and you can't find it anywhere else. They make it in house, and it's a little spicy, but it's to die for. And so I will go to Eddie's and I go to Raging Burrito a lot of the time, back to back next to each other.
Yep.
So those are definitely two of my favorite places that I go to in the cab. But there's a lot of good stuff like that. Like I said, I spent a lot of my 20s in the Square. So I used to go to like Square Pub, which is not there anymore, or Sushi Avenue, which is my favorite sushi spot
Yep.
even now.
Been there.
Yeah, and I mean, I live up in Pendergrass, Georgia, which is like 30 minutes north of the Mall of Georgia.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
I'm way up north, right? And my favorite sushi place is still Sushi Avenue in Decatur Square. Like, that's how good it is.
Especially
So-
when you got to drive through like the Duluth and all that area.
Tell me about it. It is very congested. Yeah. But that's usually where my top spots are. Or Jenny's Ice Cream is really fun to go to as well.
Mhm.
They've gotten a lot bigger than they were when I first started going there, but I'm obsessed with their brownie butter almond brittle.
Now, is there a Jenny's Ice Cream in Decatur?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
did
there's one
not
in the
know
Square.
that.
See, what do I mean? I spent a lot of time in the Square when I was younger, and so most of my answers are going to be in that area. But it's because I'm so fond of it. I think of it really fondly.
Well, if you paid attention to their Watch Fest 26, they're going to be having events all through
I
FIFA
saw.
concerts and everything on
know.
your square.
On my Square, I know, and they're really they're building it up, that whole inside of it now. They're going to add like a concert hall and all kinds of stuff. So I'm interested to see what happens with that.
Yeah, they're kicking off the FIFA event with Big Boy concert.
Mm-hmm. That's
They're
crazy,
going
isn't
to have
it?
Indigo Girls in one of them.
Oh, I
and-
love them. Yeah.
Yeah, on their new square.
Yeah. I know. I'm excited about it. There's a lot coming to Decatur Square, which is really exciting to see because it's a really great part of town. And I feel like people don't think of it that way all the time. It's underappreciated. So people should go to it more.
Okay, now let's flip it to the one must do at Fernbank.
Oh my gosh. The coolest thing at Fernbank, I have different answers for this. My favorite, I think the most stunning thing at Fernbank, like I said, is walking under the dinosaurs. I really love that experience of just being able to walk among the giants. But if you have a kid, especially a kid from ages like 4 to 8, 4 to 9, the indoor treehouse upstairs in Nature Quest
Oh, yeah.
has always struck me as a very unique, really exciting thing. It's basically it is what I said. It's a giant indoor treehouse, and it's a really unique experience for a child of that age. You go inside tree trunks and climb upstairs to get to these wood bridges you can run across, and it just really fuels imagination in that age group, which is something you don't always see in modern play. And I really think it's really well done. Even though my kids now, my two older kids are 11 and 13, so they've even outgrown this exhibit, and I'm still in all of it because I think it's really, really well done.
I forgot about the treehouse, but my kids are all like 21 and above.
Yeah.
now, so-
I have a 7-month-old baby as well, so I plan to bring her to Fernbank later down the road.
Oh, yeah.
Show her off. But yeah, it's a really cool spot. And so that's probably that's the thing I probably recommend the most, especially to parents, is go check out Nature Quest on the 3rd floor. It's very cool.
So, pulling back the curtain on the museum,
Hmm.
what goes into really developing and finding the right thing that's going to be a great tourism draw, great educational piece?
Yeah. So we take a look at Well, we start with our mission, right? The science, nature, and human culture part of it. And we want to make sure anything that we bring in really speaks to Fernbank's mission and what we're here to bring to the community.
Right.
That's probably the biggest piece of it for us. And then when it comes to creating the exhibit, we do a lot of, as an aside, we do a lot of bringing in outside exhibits for our special exhibits from other museums, but we are in the midst of creating another one, our Thrive experience. And part of that, a big piece of it, is just looking at the different tools that we have and the educator specialties that we have in our team. We have a very strong education team. There's a lot of people on it. Our VP of education has been there something like 27 years, a really long
Wow.
time, who's also our curator. And it's their team looking at what we are able to do that will speak to the modern culture and be immersive. And, there's a lot of components with exhibits now that use augmented reality and different styles than there were
Yeah.
back in 1992 when we opened, when it was a lot more still pieces. Now you've got to be more interactive, more technologically advanced. And so it's looking at what we are able to do with the exhibit side, coupled with what our educational team can professionally speak to make sure we are both interesting and accurate. And so that is what has been going around Fernbank for the past couple of years leading up into our Thrive project, which is, of course, on the process of opening now through 2027.
So the technology, augmented reality, the hands-on is so unbelievably important.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find that the hardest piece or the educational piece to find the right mix?
It just kind of depends on what it is. The thing about the educational piece is what we know about history, especially about like dinosaurs, is always changing.
True.
Even some of the things that we knew about dinosaurs when we started opening and in our walk through time experience or exhibit is different than how it is now. And so you will have to make sure that when you're putting in the education behind it, it is something that is probably not going to change, or if it does change, can be adapted to change. So that can be a challenge for our educational team, and they're really good about forward thinking with that type of material. And technologically speaking, the intelligence is there, and our exhibits team is really good at what they do, building and creating this experience for museum goers. But it can be very costly, and we're a nonprofit, and so it can be very expensive to bring in the new technologies and stuff that you need for those immersive augmented reality components to it. That's a lot of what we see, though, with the traveling exhibits that come in and whatnot. Augmented reality is a huge piece of it. I mean, you have to be up on it in order to stay up on current interests and whatnot. So, and it's really cool, some of the stuff they can do. One that always sticks out to me is we had the spiders exhibit a couple of years ago from the Australian Museum, who always puts on a really great exhibit. And you could stand in one place and it was like spiders were crawling all over you, which is just insane. For somebody like me who's terrified of them, it was insane because it was this experience of almost like you're immersed in your own fear without the risk factor. But that's the kind of augmented reality we have to be thinking about when creating these exhibits, since that's the level that it's at. So there's a lot of moving parts to it, a whole lot of people on one big museum team talking to each other, and then those two pieces making sure they're marketable to the public. They're not problematic, they're visually appealing, they're entertainment-wise appealing, which sometimes can get lost in the educational piece. It's a lot of moving parts.
I was thinking about that spider thing because I'm not scared of spiders, but I would not want to have the reality of all these spiders crawling on me, even though I know I'm going to be fine.
Right. It was crazy. That exhibit had, oh gosh, I'm forgetting now. It was a couple years ago. Maybe 12 of the most venomous spiders you can find in it. And it would be like 8 tarantulas. There was a couple of black widows. There was a couple of brown recluses. I mean, just from all over the world. Huntsman spiders. It was crazy. And so people would come and see them because of the shock factor of spiders. And then there was also the augmented reality components to it. So it was like, not only can you see these real spiders, you can feel like they're crawling on you. It's crazy what people can do now with exhibit experiences in museums to try and bring this education to life for the public. And so that's where our brains are when we're creating these new exhibits and trying to bring people in, especially older crowds in, to keep them interested. You got to keep the technology up there.
You really do.
Yeah.
Because the students of today, the kids of today, is not like in my generation where you look at a wax structure and thought, wow, this is cool.
Yeah.
It's not that
Yeah.
way.
It's like, well, I've seen that on YouTube. So why does this matter to me? It's like, that's what you're competing against, especially with AI,
True.
creating all kinds of new and inaccurate things. And so it's like, where's the line, you know?
Well, it's just promotion of tourism is becoming so much more complicated because you have to stay up on technology and
Yeah.
technology is always changing or it's always breaking.
Yeah.
So you're always like fixing and adapting and all.
Yeah. It's a moving piece all the time, but I do like Fernbank's team. They're very adaptable. And especially most of our VPs have been there 25 plus years, and all of them, to their credit, are very adaptable. They want to be immersed in the technology. They want to be doing the augmented reality experiences, and they're also very big on staying accurate, which is so important at a museum. So I'm really lucky to be working on that kind of team under people who've been doing it for so long.
Thank you so much for being on the show again. It's always a pleasure having you.
Oh, thank you for having me.